So who would you start in week one, in on the first game of the playoffs for the Jays, Bieber or someone else?
I mean, for me, I would probably start Bieber.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's not so much that I think he's been that much better than Gausman of late. I think Gausman's been fantastic of late. And I like that idea. I like having, not to say Bieber's a wild card, but I like the idea of putting him first because you might get a gem. You might not get a perfect game. You might get a game where you have where he has some struggles. But the Jays have been even still the Jays have been competitive in games that he's not been his best. And I think having for what I would say maybe the more consistent, just because he's pitched this year the entire year and he's pitched pretty well. Having Kevin Gausman there as your second guy kind of gives you like that, that relief, because if you lose game one with Gausman on the mound and then
yeah,
you got to go to Bieber, and I think everyone would still be very confident in that, feel good about that. It's just that he hasn't pitched a lot, so you don't know what you're going to maybe get from start to start. It'll probably still be a very good outcome, but at the same time, it may not be his best. So that's kind of my thinking on it right now. I don't think they can make a bad decision in terms of those two. I think however they want to strategize it and figure it out, I think they'll be right regardless. It'll just have to be, well presented, and as long as they're all in agreement, I'm sure Bieber and Gausman and Scherzer, I'm sure all these guys will have a lot to say in terms of what they think is the best option, and they'll have to line up the rest to make it all work out. Especially if they don't end up winning the division and don't get a
yeah.
bye, they'll be playing right in a wild card game, and it's kind of, you got to just go. So I mean, it'll really depend on how things finish at the end of the year, but yeah, like I said, I'm confident in either one of those two guys as a playoff starter, and I think just because of the pedigree and because of just the way that it's being the way that it's viewed, and of course he's got success in the past as one of the best pitchers in the league. So I think you go with Bieber, and then Gosman's a great option for game two to kind of help you, stop the bleeding if you were to lose, or to maybe push you over the top if you win game one.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I just think Bieber. I don't think Bieber is a game one starter. I think you want to come out with for me, I would come out with like a performance where where you're gonna get like an ace type performance. Not saying Bieber hasn't been good since returning, and I know it's coming off Tommy John, but this is the thing about coming off Tommy John. You don't really know. You can't really expect pitchers to get back to their peak performance, and then I guess 2 months after going back to the big leagues, like it's hard to see that panning out the way that I think they think it's going to pan out. I think I'd have to start Kevin Gausman and get a win in game one, or to try your best to get a win in game one, and then figure it out from there. Because there's no way I'm starting Jose Barrios in one of 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there's just.
But in that scenario, like, so Bieber would be your number 2, or like when you say figure it out from there, like, would you mean like you bring Scherzer number 2, and then maybe Bieber is like?
That's the thing. I don't know.
Like, where do you go? I don't know that. Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know, because Scherzer to me would be considered for number 2 if he didn't have the back problems that he's having and stuff that he seems to be dealing with right now. And Bieber might be the number 3 in my opinion, but right now with the back problems, I have no idea if Scherzer's even going to be available. And you got to go with Bieber. I feel like in that case, Bassett might be considered for number 3 if Scherzer's not ready to go. I just don't think they're going to pitch Jose Barrios. I just can't see a world where Jose Barrios starts one of the first 3 games. Like, it's just not in the books for me or cards for me, because Barrios he's been looking terrible each start down the stretch here, and I think the innings are starting to rack up on him, and I think that's the biggest thing this season. He just does not seem to have the command that he once did. He doesn't seem to have the velocity that he once did. It just seems to me like everything's a little bit off as we get down the stretch of the season here, and he's giving up big outing after big outing. So I just don't see them starting Jose Barrios at all. But if you were to give me like a definitive answer right now, I guess I'd have to go game 1 Gausman, game 2 Bieber, game 3 if Scherzer's healthy, Scherzer, but if not, Bassett. That's probably where I'm going.